also known as Canadian Yoker, and we're here to discuss the scary and crazy situation that happened with George Floyd. So just to recap, what happened was this guy died due to the fact that four police officers put their knees on the George Floyd's neck. He was a 46 black man that died because he was a helpless man that died under the hands of four police officers. And he kept saying, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Yet the police officer ignored him, and I think that his cause of death was like losing air. I can't remember, but he was arrested for apparently he bought cigarettes with apparently a fake $20 bill, and the store like, completely like apparently called the police, and then the police came and arrested him, and then he was going through a arrest, like a hard arrest, I guess, and then he fainted, and then his one of the police officers, like all four police officers, were fired the really next day due to their actions. They put their knee on the man's neck, and then the guy was like, "Oh, I can't breathe." And because of this, all black people around the world are protesting, and they think that like oh, we're black people, we help people out, but we don't get the respect back because of the color of our race, and Black Lives Matter. So what do you think of this whole situation going on right now?
Well, I could say that the situation is really quite, uh, to be honest with you, it's really upsetting. A lot of people are mad. A lot of people are upset. Um, not only black people are upset, but many people who are not black also see the double standard that our society has that in this country. And so, for me personally, for me, it bothers me. It has been bothering me over the past couple of weeks or so, but for the most part, I've been really reflecting on that, and so that's what I've been thinking.
Yeah, and it's a in my opinion, protesting is bad. It can end in a bad way in some parts because there's been I've seen videos of like violent protesting, like police,
Hmm.
the SWAT team had to take care of stuff like violence. I've seen videos of SWAT teams and citizens going at it,
Hmm.
and honestly, in my opinion, the four police officers that got fired, um, do I think it is a good idea to fire those police officers? Not sure how many years they have served in the police officer, but in my opinion, if any of those were like rookies or just learning, I think maybe give a couple of years if they were rookies. If you're a rookie in some sort of job and you make a first rookie mistake, I think they should get punished in some way, like get suspended at least, and then make sure they learn their lessons and then come back. But it looks like I just think that like putting the because this dude was on the ground with a knee on his neck, and he was saying, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe," and then the police officers just ignored him completely. And I think all four police officers were fired, and they were charged of murder. So and that's what I can see myself, like if I see myself as a perspective of a black person's perspective, like it's true. Like some people, like there are people out there that hate black people. Like let's say, if I hate black people, I would just like be against like what these people have to say. Like there was a man, like there was a press conference of like black people, like they were all blacks and they came together as a community, and they were doing like they were raging, like saying, "Oh, we help people in the neighborhood, we help people in this country, and we help people, but we don't get the credit for it because people see us as like outsiders. Like we like people think black people are like they commit crimes. They're bad people. Honestly, as a person as myself, I went to Cambridge for a year in Boston, and the school that I went to was mostly black. I say like maybe 70%, 75% of the people at my school were blacks, and they were all pretty friendly. Like they all got good education. They went to I had two friends that went to MIT that I made friends with there, and they're nice people. So, they have the right to say how they feel as a black man, like people, like a black person, like anyone. There was a woman raging, like on national TV about her whole situation, and then all over the world there's like raging. Most of the black people are raging.
Why not?
So,
Why?
so anything else? Like,
oh, geez, caught.
Thank you. It's good. Apologies, guys. Got some technical difficulties.
It's good.
It's good. Okay. Thank you.
Who's that?
It's Jeff. All right.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
didn't know.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So,
anything that you like maybe agree or disagree with what I just said?
I agree. To a certain extent. The four police officers. The one that was on the police force was on the police force for a long time, and two of them, well, three of them were on the police force for a long time. So they were not rookie officers. They were not rookies. One of them, all four of them, have to be charged with one of them was charged. The one who put his neck on the neck, his knee on the neck of George Floyd was charged with third-degree murder, and but he should be charged with second-degree murder.
All of them did get fired. All of them did get fired.
All of them did get fired, but they shouldn't have not been fired. They should have been arrested. That's the whole point. This whole situation would have not have happened if the police officers had been arrested for what they did. Because one police officer what's his name, the police officer who put his knee on the neck of George Floyd, didn't even was just there. He did it purposefully, and and the others didn't even stop him from taking his knee off of George Floyd's neck. He had his knee on the man's neck for 10 minutes. Okay, and that's something that is really concerning. George Floyd was pleading with the man to take his knee off of him, and he didn't even do it. So he just literally killed him straight up. So let's just get that out the way. Second thing was that the police, they think that they're power drunk. They get drunk on power. Okay, there's a lot of police out there who are good officers, but some police officers out there are also bad officers. And there are the police officers out there who abuse their power, they abuse their authority. They think that they're above the law, or they think that they are the law. And this is a problem in a lot of places all over America. Not only it's all over America. It's not only in Minnesota, but it's all over. There's prior to George Floyd's, just the case with George Floyd, we had the problem with Ahmaud Arbery and the EMT lady, black woman who got shot in her apartment by SWAT teams. Um, it's just two crazy situations, and we're forgetting about 5 years ago where we had Trayvon Martin, we had and all those people who died 5 years ago in 2015 and 2016. Back
Yeah,
way back 5 years ago.
I
Okay.
wanted to bring up the whole George Zimmerman case. That kind of reminded me of that case. George Zimmerman killed a
Yes, George
black
Zimmerman and
teenage
Trayvon
boy,
Martin. Yeah.
Drayvon. What's his name? Drayvon.
Trayvon Martin.
Trayvon
That's his name.
Martin. This
Yeah.
case kind of was it, but like George. This is another example why black people were outraged, because this dude made excuses saying, "Oh, this teenager was threatening me. I killed him because of self-defense."
Yes.
And he got away with, like, I don't
Yeah.
think he ever went to jail. I forgot the whole details,
think he
but I
was
think he
acquitted.
got away with two trials.
Yes. Yes.
But he ended up getting killed due to a run car away or something by some dude. I think the dude's name is what's the dude's name?
Right?
I forgot.
George Zimmerman.
His name is Matthew Amberson. He got killed. Yeah.
Okay. But the case with Trayvon Martin is the same thing that happened to Ahmaud Arbery. he was just jogging in the street, okay, and then there were two people who were jogging, who saw him jogging around a construction site, and then they chased after him, and then after that they found him, and then they tried to arrest him or something, and then some of them had guns, and then they shot him and killed him on the spot. Okay, so let's not like this. That's the thing with those two cases are similar. But what happened with George Floyd is a little bit different. The context of that situation is a little bit different. He was arrested. He got detained. They could have put him in. They should have put him in a police car. Instead, they knock him down to the ground. Then they hold him down, and then they suffocate him to death. And this is
Yeah, and
this.
every and look, people out there are not going to agree that like people out there aren't going to be happy about hearing like literally people, just in another word, people aren't going to be like, let's say people out there, there's going to be people out in the world that aren't want to like sit at their computer and listen to a black person rage, protest and say their own opinions. I mean, like, this is America. Look at, this is what I'm gonna have to say about this. Like, say this is for like racism perfect. I'm not being racist, but let's talk about the N word. Like, I hear the N words being said so many times like in my life, and like people get upset over it, and like people get upset because they're hearing stupid shit from a black person raging or protesting. And in my own opinion, I think that you have the freedom of speech to say whatever you want, your own opinion. And I think for real, the actual black people who go out there and protest and share their feelings, there's nothing wrong about that. I have nothing against that, because sticking up with another they're sticking up for another person that died because of something stupid, um like if I saw like another Chinese person or a race of mine get humiliated or killed, I'll be outrageous. Like, you're black, right? So how would you feel if you saw someone your own race, like African, whatever race you are, get like killed because a police officer or whatever put his knee on his own neck? And then the Draymond Martin case, his parents always have the right to protest because, this dude made excuses. He killed an innocent kid, um, and he got away with it. They have the right to share their feelings. They have the right to protest. So
Yeah, they do have the right to protest. They're right. We do have the right to protest, but what needs to be more is just more than protesting. It's getting there needs to be a law that says that police are their job is to protect and serve the community. Their job is not to abuse their power. Okay, and so what the problem is that it's a multifaceted. This whole situation is really a multifaceted problem. It's what it really is. What the problem really is about um, black people getting killed by police in America. And also, there's a problem of racism, this onion layer of racism in this country. And also, we have this, and there's other factors that go into this thing. But some do police officers actually interact with people from their communities? Do they only interact with one group of individuals, a group from one specific group that they're familiar with, or do they communicate with many groups? Are they able to interact and show respect for their communities? Because this is the thing in this country, everybody everybody comes from a different place. Everybody comes from a different everybody comes from a different background. Jeff, you're a Chinese. You're a Chinese person. You grew up you're a Chinese American. You're American. You grew up in this country. Your family has a different culture from my family. My family has a different culture from your family. Okay, but yet we can still sit here and talk like we're Americans because we respect each other. We know each other. We have things that we have in common. Okay, so why can't we do that the same? Why can't the police and well, police are people too. They're human beings, but they cannot put themselves on a pedestal above everybody else because they work as law enforcement officers. You know, they're human
Yeah, and
beings,
it's not just because of the race. It's not just actual citizens like white people having a problem with black people. It's even officers because I heard, I think my father told me this. I think it was a Harvard professor that was black, and apparently it was some sort of story he told me that it was on the news. He left his keys in his house, and he tried to open the window and climb in, and then the police officer called him and said, "What are you doing?" And then he said, "I left my keys in the house." The police didn't believe him, arrested him, and then eventually they looked at his identification. They looked at everything and said, "Yes, he lived in this house," and he eventually got released. That's how insanely insane the racism in this country is.
yes, I remember that. I remember that. I was back when Obama first became president. That was like
Yes,
2000,
yes. It's like looking at a
2009.
white person. It's like looking at a white person trying to sneak into a house. The police will probably question him too, but it's like
It
it's
wouldn't
the
go to that extent. You see, but the problem is these different expectations that people have, these different perceptions that people have, these different stereotypes that people have.
it's not
You know,
just a police officer having their own like nationality opinions on um black people. It's like officers can see a black person and think, oh, we're gonna watch this person instead of the white person, you know? So there's a lot of like racism in this country and like the way people see people's colors.
yeah. Well, you know, it goes back in our history because when you think about it, a lot of African Americans, a lot of people who are black, we see officers, police officers see. I'm not going to say this, but you know, the history of black people in this country has been really really tough because of the system of the justice system. The justice system views people who are there are laws that are in place that state that it's a longer, you know, an African American person or someone who is not who is a non-white, somebody that they get longer jail sentences. They get longer jail sentences and other things. They get a longer rap sheet than somebody who is white, who is able to build up their life afterwards. And so like I wanted to say that if we're black in this country, you know, it is not easy to be a black person in this country because the way that the system is structured against it is against you in the system. So we have to work at least 5 times harder in order to be a successful person in this country, you know. And the same goes for you too, Jeff. I know that even though you're a Chinese person, you too experience that yourself, you know. Especially, you know, you probably feel that because people think that because you're Chinese, you probably feel that, you know, you have to work hard as well because 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 people have a certain expectation of you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, it's not easy for people who are minorities in this country. You know, the system is structured against people who are minorities in America. Okay, because America is it's not equal. It's not equal. It's an unequal. This country is unequal. Okay, it's been unequal for some time now. We're just waking up to the reality of the fact that, oh, wait a second, you know, we have to work 10 times harder in order to be successful because people don't respect each other. People don't respect each other. They don't find things in common. There's no accountability or responsibility for people who mess up, especially like right now. Okay, so if the police officers right now they arrested one police officer. Where are the other 3 police officers? They have to arrest those police officers also because they are accomplices to the murder of George Floyd. Okay, and this is what the public is crying out for right now. They want accountability, and right now there's no accountability. There's no accountability. Okay, there's never been accountability for police for the police messes when the police whenever the police mess up stuff, they always try to cover stuff up. Okay, but there's no accountability for these cover-ups. Okay, people need to be more accountable. It's the people who they're serving. And I remember watching an LAPD. The Los Angeles Police Department actually had a discussion last night with with other with other people, and so people were calling in. They were doing a call line. They were calling in, and they were talking to the police officer, to the police department. They were talking to the mayor. They were literally calling and telling them, this is what you're doing wrong. You need to do this right. Someone's made a good suggestion that the police, if you want to become a police officer, you need to get a license in order to become a police officer. You need
Yeah.
to become a licensed police officer. And so that's a really good idea. If somebody has a little bit more education, tries to become a little bit more educated, and they want to become a police officer, they have to get a license to become a police officer. And if something if once they become a licensed police officer, if they do something bad and they mess up, guess what? They lose their license as a police officer, and they can't go and work in another in another police precinct. Okay, because of what they did. Okay, they know what they did wrong, and the only way that they can fix the situation. I don't know how they'll have to do that, but they have to fix the situation somehow. Okay, because there needs to be some level of responsibility. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's also a dangerous job in my opinion because like if you're chasing a suspect, because I see this in like TV shows a lot, and it can happen in real life. I guarantee that happen in real life because and I totally agree with you. I think that to become a police officer, you obviously need a license. So you don't make mistakes, but still, it's gonna be tough because you might like say, "Oh, drop slowly, lie down, put your hands behind your back," and then you don't know if the person's going in their pocket for a gun or not. You don't know if they're going for something dangerous, and that's why most officers got fired because they have killed innocent people because they mistaken someone like pulling a gun. They could be pulling a cell phone or something, but it's tough because they can be doing this. It looks like they're pulling a gun, um, and once they shoot them, that's it. They don't have a gun in them. That's like an innocent bystander there, and there could be different signals to think like, oh, does this mean a person is drawing a phone, or it could be like a certain motion that looks really threatening. Same with police pulling over citizen because they were driving fast or like stopping at traffic light. They want to see if there's any suspicious movement in the car once you get pulled over. And that's another thing because I know some of the people that I know that are black, they had told me that they got pulled over and they had gotten like really, really observant on them. Like they have seen police officers already pull their gun out on them,
Mm-hmm.
and the friends that got pulled over were black. So that's another bystander situation. And
Yeah.
once you're black, police officers just pull their guns out. That's just so wrong.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I agree. I do think
And
that there's.
I'm not sure. You're kind of like a dark black race. Have you noticed like everywhere you go, like have police officers started staring at you or anything like that?
Have I noticed if there's any police officers like following me and stuff like that?
Like staring at you, just watching you closely because of your race?
Honestly, I don't really pay attention to I don't really pay attention to them, but sometimes I pay attention. Sometimes I notice that yes, they are looking. They're just looking around. They're observing the situation. They're paying attention to.
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
good because like
where I live,
I
honestly, it's not that bad. Um, people around here, the police officers around here, they know their community. Okay, they know the community. They've been building a relationship with the community, and I think here it's okay compared to where everywhere else around in the country. I think that here is fine. I mean, I live in
It's definitely
Schenectady,
some issues.
so
It's definitely some issues in Troy. Troy definitely is a place that police officers will look at you.
well, honestly, I haven't had that happen to me. I've never had that happen to me. I've
I had police officers stare at me, but they all just said, "Hey, what's up?" That's it. They didn't stare at me thinking I'm some like criminal or murderer, but like it's scary.
Yeah, it is scary, but but you have to realize that they're human beings too. They have their reactions. They have their reactions. But I think that that police officers they should obviously be some training that they need to do in order to de-escalate situations. Okay, before they even pull out the gun should be a last resort. Okay, it should be a last resort that they should try to before they even try to pull it out and start shooting a black person. Okay, they should
Yeah,
try at least talking.
a mistake that me and my mother made was like I was so tired I couldn't sing. So when I went to Dawn's store for a semester, I think I told you this. My mom was driving me to the bus. I was kind of late, and then we got pulled over for speeding, and then right after we got pulled over, we came out of the vehicle. So you are not supposed to do that. You're supposed to stay in your car, but instead, my mom's like, "Oh, get out the car."
Well, yeah, you
Yeah,
got to be careful with that, Jeff. I mean,
yeah. My mom and I'm like, I told my mother, "We have to stay in the car, Mom." Said, "Who said so?" And then she just was the first one out.
your mom was out the car.
Yeah,
Wow, what? Wow, that's what. Well, obviously she doesn't know what to do in that situation.
yeah. I told her, and it's like, "Who said that?" And then she just started yelling at me, and then I had to get out the car because she's like yelling in my face.
Wow, that's messed up. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So obviously, so my parents, whenever my parents had to talk with
And
me
look,
about the police,
before, and look, another thing to add is like, like I said, I don't mind if people protest as long as it's non-violent. Like, I've seen so many protests gone bad.
well,
Like, I seen,
there's a reason why the protests have gone bad, Jeff. Because the reason why protests have gone bad is because there are there are agents of who want to go into who infiltrate the protests and they cause chaos. Okay, so there have been cases of people who sneak into the protests. Okay, there are people who are they might be undercover police officers who come into the protests and then they go to a location where there's a popular store like an AutoZone or something, and then they break the windows. They say they write down graffiti on the windows, and then there are other people who are not part of the protest who just believe in, oh, I want to go to the store and just steal something from the store, and so they join the protest also. And
yeah,
instead of protesting,
that's why the SWAT team is there. SWAT team's got the swatter, pepper spray, um, and then people throw rocks. They throw smoke. I've seen people throw smoke grenades.
smoke grenades. So that would be the police officers who are throwing the
No, they're
police who are
actual
throwing the smoke
citizens like
grenades
get smoke
and shooting
smoke
rubber
grenades.
bullets, right? But I think that the people are protesting for a good cause. People are protesting because they want to see an end to police brutality. Okay, they want to see some accountability, some responsibility. They want to see some respect, and they want to see some respect for that police officers view blacks and other minorities treat blacks and other minorities with respect and show them that they're human beings, you know. And that's the problem. That's the root cause. The police officers don't. Whenever they see a black person, they don't view a black man or or a black woman as a human being. Okay, that's the problem. That's the problem. That's a root cause of the problem. We're not human beings in the officer's eyes. We're just another statistic in their eyes. And and so obviously the problem is the education, that these police officers receive from when they go to the academy school, who they interact with, what kind of training do they get, okay, and what and where are they living? What are people from their community saying about people in other communities? And how can they, how can they, how can they respond to those thoughts and sayings of people from those places? Okay, because this is a multi-level. This is like an onion layered problem. Okay, this is an onion layered problem. You got the police, and there's also the problem of police backing up other police. Okay, I don't know if you heard this, but a friend of mine the other day was telling me that the police are like one big gang, right? The police are like one big gigantic gang, and so when you might have one police officer in one place mess up. Say he gets busted for drugs, he busted somebody for drugs, and then he gets caught with drugs. And so what they'll do is, oh, we're gonna put this guy in suspension, fire him, and so they let him go. But then once they do that, another police precinct's gonna pick him up, and he's gonna get hired right at that place, and then he's gonna start working, and then the same situation is gonna happen again. Okay,
Yeah.
so the police have this they're a two-man power trip. Okay, so they're drunk on power, all right, and so there needs to be something reining them in, saying that you guys, wait a second, you guys don't have that power. Okay, and these people, the police also do not respect the Constitution. Okay, they don't respect the Constitution. They don't believe in the Constitution. Because after what I've seen over the past 5 years, with Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman, all the folks who've passed before, and all these people, Ahmaud Arbery, and all these people who've passed before, there needs to be something's got to give. The Constitution has to be respected. People's Fifth Amendment and other rights, those rights need to be respected. Okay,
Okay,
you
yeah,
can't be
and
throwing people to the ground.
yeah, another and then there was a case long time ago. You're familiar with this. I'm pretty sure you heard of Rosa Parks. Her refusal of giving up a bus seat because she was a different race. So it was required that all black people would sit in the back of the bus instead of the front. I think that's what it was.
Hmm.
Black people in the back or something like that.
That
Or
was
yeah,
that was back in the day. That was
yeah, back
segregation.
in the days. And then yeah, like you said, there were like so many cases back in the day. So like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
But like back in the day, it was a different time then, because back in segregation times, people, you had blacks that sat in the back of the bus, and whites that sat in the front. Okay, and that was a problem back in the day. Black people couldn't use public facilities or do anything like that.
yeah.
Now,
And not to interrupt, it's almost 2 o'clock. So
yeah.
like any last minute stuff that you want to talk about, I'm pretty much done. So
Um. Well, well, uh, well. How are you feeling about it so far? With everything that's going on, how are you feeling about it?
like, are you asking me how I feel about the protesting and stuff?
Not the protesting, but everything that's gone on so far with protesting and Black Lives Matter and the murder of George Zimmerman, and
Hon-
what if
Honestly, like I said, I really appreciate like black people stepping forward and sharing their feelings. I totally agree with them. They have the right to be angry. They have the right to protest because one of their own got killed because of the stupid shit that they had to go through. And it's really good that they're spreading awareness for the Blackout Tuesday and the Black Lives Matter with just a picture of a black screen. So it's really, really nice that they um, spread awareness with that. I also did it.
Mhm.
So it's really nice to see like all the black people coming in and making like it's spreading awareness, making social media like that, like a black screen, Blackout Tuesday, Black Lives Matter. We're all in this together, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, yeah. I also think that that's a good thing. But what about you as a Chinese person growing up in America? What do you think about um, about
It's kind
racism
of
in the country.
it's kind of weird because I'm like not white, I'm not black either. Yet the number one thing situation in America going on is black crimes and like seeing a black person doing something as a murder or something. But like I never see any news about any Chinese people. That makes me really safe, but like it's stressful because all these black people have to go through all this stuff. But where for me, I don't really have to go through it because I don't really see on the news about well the coronavirus in China, which kind of upset me. But like um, looking at someone's nationality, that's what I mean. Like I don't have to go through that. But yet in America, the number one race that has issues is blacks.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. But I've kind of I don't know, but I have to look into it. But I heard that there are some news articles that are saying that there is some racism against Chinese people and Asians going on, but
But
it's not being
not
reported.
as much as black people.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's another talk we can do for another day then. So
All right, there's nothing else. We can talk for 5 minutes after this ends, and then I gotta get going. So
yeah, so
thank you guys for joining. My name is Bruinsteel. This is my YouTube channel, and you can also check out Canadian Yorker
I
on his channel. He does like hiking and stuff, I think now.
yeah, but